Today I'm ranking all 9 seasons of Dexter, including Dexter New Blood, in anticipation of Dexter Resurrection, which is coming very, very soon. What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Push. I'm a big Dexter fan. Planned on reviewing each season. Got through season 1, and all of a sudden Dexter Resurrection is coming. I still plan on reviewing each season as I'm watching Dexter Resurrection, but I thought it might be fun to get my thoughts out there on each of the seasons as we approach the new season here very shortly. Dexter is a show, in my opinion, that probably has the biggest difference between the highest highs and the lowest lows of any show in television history. Like, it was that good, and then it was that bad. But either way, it's fun to talk about. Dexter as a character is a brilliant TV character, played expertly, of course, by Michael C. Hall, and I'm sure he's going to do great in this new season. Any issues I have with the later seasons, or the seasons I'm going to talk about shortly here first, have nothing really to do with Michael C. Hall's performance. That being said, tell me your thoughts in the comments. What is your favorite season of Dexter? Who's your favorite villain? Give me your thoughts in the comments if you're a fan of Dexter. I want to hear them. I want to see if I'm on an island with some of my thoughts, or if I'm with the majority. So let's get right into it. Starting off at number 9, in last place. This was probably the easiest season to rank, and that is season 8. This season is absolute fucking dog shit. Is an abomination of this show. Where do I even start? Like, the ending, god awful, right? Just terrible. Like, brutally bad. Okay? But everything before that was just as bad. I mean, the shit with Hannah and Harrison, terrible. The shit with Deb, beginning of the season, okay. Later in the season, terrible. She just gets back to normal after crashing the car with Dexter. And all is forgiven. Dr. Vogel, oh yeah. By the way, we spent 7 seasons telling you Harry created this code. Now it's Dr. Vogel who's the real person that Harry went to, the real person that came up with the code. Fucking terrible. Like, absolutely terrible. Brain surgeon, terrible. Deb dying the way she died. Not her dying, but dying the way she died. Fucking terrible. I could go on and on and on. Nothing in this season worked at all. Even Dexter as a character, terrible in this fucking season. Just brutal. Let's move on. Coming in at number 8 is going to be season 6, otherwise known kind of as like the religious season. Now, a lot of good ideas here in this season. I like Dexter coming to grips with his faith while there is a serial killer, or serial killers, while there's a serial killer, who has this religious background, who's this doomsday shit going on. That is interesting. I thought Mos Def was interesting in this season before he died. I thought he was a great character in Brother Sam. But the twist really didn't work for me. Edward James Olmos, he was fine, but you kind of saw it coming, right? I know a lot of people saw it coming sooner than I did, but eventually I saw it coming. Tom Hanks' kid, Colin Hanks, he's okay. He wasn't intimidating. And then, just other than, maybe one trap, which was like kind of like a Saw-like trap with the girl that like was like spread across in the garden or something like that. There's really nothing memorable about this season. This is when the show kind of really went off the rails for me. Is in season 6. I think this is when Deb was promoted to lieutenant. They would never promote her to lieutenant. Yes, she's an amazing detective. She doesn't have the temperament to be lieutenant or whatever the hell she was. She just doesn't. And I get the politics behind it. Matthews had it happen. It's a screw over, look where it's at. I get all that. Didn't work for me. Stupid. A bad season with some really good ideas. Coming in at number 7, it's going to be our most recent season until next week, and that is Dexter New Blood. Once again, good ideas here. Interesting for some of the season. It took a while to get started. Kurt Caldwell, I think, was one of the better villains we've had in this show, and that's saying something. Clancy Brown was awesome. A little anticlimactic how we ended, but I liked that. I liked the podcaster. I liked being in the winter. even though it kind of took some of the Dexterness out of the show, with the city of Miami being such a big character in the show, such a vibe of the show, I thought it was fitting. Harrison, I know everyone complains he was unlikable. He was. He wasn't fun to watch. Is it realistic that that's how he'd be? Probably. But he wasn't fun to watch. Once again, the ending. I have no problem with Dexter dying. I got a little problem the way Angela was able to figure it out, but nobody else ever was. Whatever. But the Batista shit. And yes, well, you could say, oh, we're going to get him in season Dexter Resurrection. It'll all be good. Fuck that. They never knew they were going to have Dexter Resurrection. They had him find out Dexter was the Bay Harbor Butcher that killed his ex-wife, La Huerta. They had him find that out, and then there was no confrontation. What the fuck are you thinking? I've never taken a screenwriting class, but you would think that would be screenwriting 101. Chekhov's gun, right? God, brutal. I can't put it any higher, even though there's some good shit in this season. Coming in, number 6 is going to be a season that I think gets a lot of hate. And let me just say this. Every other season from now on, I really enjoy. Okay? And I think my coming in at number 6, my 6th place season here, gets a lot more hate than it deserves. And that is season 5. Okay? The Jordan Chase season. The Lumen season. And I think it gets a lot of hate because it wasn't season 4, right? There wasn't a villain like Arthur Mitchell. Arthur Mitchell is Arthur Mitchell. He's once in a show. Okay? But Dexter dealing with the aftermath of what happened to Rita and essentially it being his fault, right? That's realistic, that you needed to do that. When you kill off a major character like Rita, you have to have ramifications, especially when it's Dexter's fault. And then, bringing in Lumen, a lot of people don't like the Barrel Girls and Jordan Chase. I thought that was interesting. I really, really thought it was interesting. Is it the best? No. I mean, it's only coming in at number 6, right? But I think it gets a lot of unjustified hate. Now, there's other side shit going on that's stupid. I think this is the season with the, I can't remember what it is, those like Mexican Aztec or something style killers that Deb is researching and like where the fucks are over and all that shit. Like, I don't care. I just don't care. But I thought the main plot was very interesting. And like I said, it wasn't Trinity level. It wasn't Ice Truck level. But it was interesting. And that's more than you can say about some of the later seasons. Coming in at number 5 is going to be season 7. Okay. Now, season 7, once again, unjustly gets hated because people lump it in with the later seasons. Thought it was interesting here. Very interesting. This is, of course, the season without really a main villain, which makes it unique in one respect. It's also unique because this is where Deb finds out Dexter not only killed Doomsday Killer right at the end of season 6, but that he's the Bay Harbor Butcher. And you get that whole dynamic. I think that whole dynamic could have been handled better. Hannah is introduced, who was interesting at first for me. She got old pretty quick. But there's a lot of good shit in here. I fucking adore the character of Isaac Serco, played by the great Ray Stevenson. I loved him and Dexter's dynamic. He is intimidating as hell. But the way he was like sophisticated and him and Dexter had an understanding and they talk about how they could have been friends in another life, I thought that was fantastic. I loved seeing La Huerta actually be a cop and not just some political mastermind here. When she is convinced that Dexter's the Bay Harbor Butcher, she is setting him up. Yes, he ends up outsmarting her, but she set him up perfectly. Brilliant. Now, you can make the argument that they should have had Batista be the one that found out, and I guess we're going to get to that, right? Because they made La Huerta so fucking unlikable that we were essentially rooting for her death. Make it someone that's likable. Dexter, yes, he's our antagonist, anti-hero, whatever, but he's still fucking wrong. Make us choose as an audience. But when you choose La Huerta for that specific role, you make it easy for us to choose, right? Because you made her so unlikable in prior seasons. But I really enjoyed season 7. And then obviously they came off the somewhat high-ish of season 7 and obviously went to season 8 and then we've never been anywhere back. But season 7, I think is a really good season and it comes in at my number 5. Top 4 seasons left. pretty standard here. Coming in at number 4 is going to be season 3, aka the Jimmy Smith season, aka the Miguel Prado season. And when I said I like all the seasons from here onward, from 5, 7, and now the top 4, I love these now, and I love season 3. It's probably obviously it's ranked as my weakest of the top 4 seasons here, but sometimes I think it should be like higher. It's just the other 3 are so good. But I think Miguel Prado and the relationship with Dexter is awesome. That rooftop scene with Dexter and Prado, when Prado's going off at him, he goes, "I will fuck you right back." Oh, that's so good. That is so fucking good. I love it. I absolutely love it. And then that whole back and forth once they know each other's onto them and stuff like that. It's great. It's absolutely great. And I love that dynamic and Dexter getting a friend and Miguel being the ADA, right? Our assistant district attorney. I think that's the ADA, right? But yeah, I thought it was great. And then him going too far, find out he's playing Dexter all along, etc. Really, really good season, entertaining. The Skinner, though, the side villain or main villain, however you want to talk about it, garbage. One of the least memorable. And the Anton shit, terrible. That's what holds season 3 back for me. Coming in at number 3, it's going to be the original season of Dexter, season 1, the Ice Truck Killer season. And the reason this is only 3 is just because there's a lot of stuff that the show is feeling out as far as the characters and the dynamic and the character dynamics. Like Huerta's very different here, like hitting on Dexter. Deb is very different here. At least we get Dokes, right? We'll talk more about Dokes shortly. But yeah, I really like season 1. It's not a perfect season because there's 2 seasons higher. But for setting up a show, it is a great setup. And learning about Dexter, the character, is awesome. I love that we start with Dexter already, being who he is as a killer. And then we slowly start to unravel things about him throughout the season. And then, of course, buoyed by the fact that the Ice Truck Killer is his biological brother, Brian Moser, and the ramifications of that, and having to choose Deb. So much good in this season. Love season 1. But it only comes in at number 3. Coming in my number 2, and it's always usually right. It's a mix. This is going to be possibly controversial that this season's only number 2. Number 2 is season 4. The Trinity Killer season. Now, probably the most memorable villain, right? Not probably. It is. John Lithgow is fucking incredible in this season. He is chilling as Arthur Mitchell. Just chilling. But my God, some of these scenes, like specifically, I talked about the rooftop scene in season 3. The Thanksgiving dinner scene with Arthur's family is fucking intense. When Dexter pulls him across and he's got a knife behind his back and his family comes running, that is intense as shit. But this season, kind of the way Dexter is going too far, trying to learn from Arthur. He saved Arthur's life at one point, and it cost him. When this season ended, it was shocking, absolutely shocking. And I'm forgetting stuff, but when Arthur Mitchell walks into the police station and the famous "Hello, Dexter Morgan," oh, that is so good. The way it's in slow motion, your stomach drops just with Dexter. He found out who Dexter was. And there's obviously major ramifications with that, with Rita's death, and the way the season ends. Through that, ring hollow ring true throughout the rest of the show, and even including Resurrection, because Harrison, all that shit. Season 4 is an amazing season of television with one of the best villains in television history. But my favorite season of Dexter, in my opinion, the top season of Dexter, is season 2. Okay? And the reason for this is the Dexter versus FBI manhunt, and then Dokes being involved. It's so fucking good. I think the stakes might never have been higher in this season, and it sucks it was season 2, right? This should have been the last season, right? But they blew their load too early. But that's okay, because this season's so good. The way they bring in Lundy, and he's an FBI serial killer, Whisperer or something, and Dexter tries to throw him off the scent, but he just draws him closer, with the manifesto, law enforcement background, right? And Dokes is fucking incredible in this season. Shout out to Eric King, who plays Dokes, but he is great. the him and Dexter exchanges when Dokes is in the cage. Some of my favorite stuff in the show. Dexter's finally being honest. Dokes, saying you're sick, but you need some help. Let me help you. All kinds of stuff. Lila, who doesn't love Lila? She's okay. I thought some of that stuff was drawn out. My main criticism of this season is that Lila basically robbed Dexter of the choice of having to kill Dokes. And that's just a cop-out for the show because they wanted Dexter to be likable. Okay? That's my cop-out. Dexter should have had to make the choice. Turn himself in or kill Dokes. But they used Lila to facilitate Dexter not having to make that choice. Okay? I get it. I get it. Showtime might have said, hey, we don't want this. Whatever. But just the stakes and the nonstop cat and mouse game of season 2 between Dexter and Lundy and the police force, and Dokes being involved, like I said, is just some of the most intense stuff, that you get to, once you get to the middle of the season, right at the end of the first episode, first of all, they find all his bodies, his dumping ground, right? But then, when Lundy comes in, you get to the middle of the season, it's one thing after another with the algae, with all kinds of shit, where they're just right on his tail. And, he's got Lundy on his ass, which is great. Lundy's a great character. But yeah, season 2, my favorite season of Dexter, just because of the stakes and cat and mouse game involved. But it's hard not to pick season 4 or even 1 or 3, in my opinion. So that is my ranking of every season in Dexter. And I'm hoping Resurrection can hopefully sneak into like the top 6 and I'll be happy. Hopefully it's not between Resurrection and season 8 for the last spot. You never know. But I am cautiously optimistic and I'm excited to watch it. So thanks for watching this, everybody. And I'll see you on the next one.